moment of silence followed by the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Marks, roll call.
Mr. Bailey.
Here.
Mrs. Bolton.
Here.
Mr. Fink. Here. Mrs. Lawson.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Mr. Knope.
Here.
Mrs. Rohrbaugh.
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Here.
And Mr. Zepp is absent.
Okay, we reached the point of the meeting for the student recognitions. Dr. Mancuso.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey, and welcome everyone this evening. As always, I say this every month, but I sincerely mean it. This is one of the favorite parts of my school board meeting every month because we have the opportunity to recognize outstanding students with us this evening. So I'd like to begin with our senior students of the month and have Mr. McGlynn, our high school principal, come forward and recognize those two students.
Uh-oh.
I see what you're doing. Big guy on the floor.
Icebreaker. That's the icebreaker.
Good evening. Emma, could you come forward first? It's my pleasure tonight to introduce two of our fine, outstanding seniors of the month. First, we have Emma Brister here, who's here with mom. I saw mom was here. Mom and dad. Okay, Dad's not here. This evening, we'd like to do some highlights for Emma as she enters her senior year. She currently has a GPA of 4.52. She has challenged herself academically her senior year, taking AP Stats, AP Bio, AP World History, English for an orchestra. During her high school career, Emma has been a member of the East New York Orchestra. She's a member of the National Honor Society, also the Tri-Am Honor Society as well. She's been involved in our musical program at high school, the high school musical. And not only does she challenge herself academically and also extracurricular, also within the community, as she is currently working on her Girl Scout Gold Award, which would be the equivalent to Boy Scouts. Eagle Scout Award by the Boy Scouts. She's currently working on that project at Kennedockley, where she's installing an environmental-focused outdoor classroom for Kennedockley students. We're excited to see how she finishes that project, so more to come with that. Her career path is going to a four-year institution. She hasn't decided yet. She got some decisions to make. But she wants to focus on engineering, concentration in mechanical engineering as she moves forward. We wish her the best of luck. Please enjoy your senior year. It will go quickly, as I'm sure it already has since we're almost a quarter way through it. So it's my honor, Ellen, to honor you as one of our students of the month for October. Thank you.
Right, would parents like a picture?
Waiting for you.
I'll make sure Mr. McGlynn gets it.
Yeah, and Mom was saying-
Would you like a pic? No, would you like to take a picture with her?
Oh, in it? No.
Yes. That's what I was asking. But I will make sure Mr. McGlynn gets it.
Your turn. Our other senior this evening is Macy McNatt. Macy currently has a GPA of 4.213. She has challenged herself this year with AP English 4, AP World History. She's also in concert choir, and she's part of a school to career program at the high school where she's working with Mr. Leonza here at Wrightsville. So she goes half day down and works with him in the afternoons. During her high school career, she's been a 4-year member of the Broadway Knights, helping out with our musical program in the spring. 4-year member of choir. She's one of the leaders of King's Knights at the high school. She has participated in 1-year marching band as well. Macy's highly involved and active in her church as she's a worship leader and part of the worship team. The worship leader is with her youth group and part of her worship team for the congregation. She also volunteers at church in the preschool and nursery programs, and also participates in the church's natural fine arts festivals as well. Her future goal is to attend University of Valley Forge and major in education. So I hope in 4 years we get an application coming back from you when you're done. Wish you the best of luck. For me personally, it's a pleasure getting to know you. We've done a few projects together, so it'll be exciting to see you walk across that stage with the rest of your peers. And so, my honor to Macy.
Parents, would you like to get in the picture? I will rephrase that from now on because I didn't realize that what I said. And I will make sure Mr. Woodland gets it so we can share. 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emma and Macy, once again, on behalf of everyone here, congratulations. We look forward to seeing all that you're going to do that your senior year. Emma, I remember, I think you were here last spring talking to us about the broccoli garden. And Macy, I see you in classrooms. Last year, were you in kindergarten? I think so. Getting a well-rounded experience in 4th grade this year. So we do look forward to your success as a future teacher.
You're welcome.
Moving on, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome our middle school principal, Mr. Bill Ackerman, here to recognize his students of the month this evening. Mr. Ackerman.
Good evening, thanks for having me. We do have 2 students, but unfortunately one of the students is ill, so you'll see me back here next month with that young man. But I kind of feel like this person somehow had a play in that because she just always wants the attention on her. Always wants attention on her. We, at the middle, we typically give, we don't give a student of the month. What we do is we do Knights of the Round Table. So we have anywhere from 20 to 25 students recognized for a variety of different things every month. But the first month and a half of school, we don't have that, which is actually perfect because then it gives me an opportunity to shine the light on 1 or 2 individuals who I think really embody everything that the middle represents. And one of those things, especially for both of these students, but especially this one here, is resilience. She majors in awesomeness, which she knows. Humility, I don't know about that. She's lucky though, she has the same sense of humor as her principal. So Sophia Eck has really embodied resilience here at the middle. You know, look, middle school is not always an easy trip for anyone. And you remember back, you're probably rolling your eyes internally right now, but we have kids in our building who battle through those things, overcome those challenges, and really succeed. Sophia has done that in her 2 years here at the middle. Now in the 8th grader, queen of the hill, we call her. She has embodied that resilient spirit. And on top of that, you know, she had a pretty rough spring. She had some medical issues in the spring, really missed a lot of the 4th quarter, and yet she came back as strong as ever. When she came back, she had a smile on her face, just as usual, kept up with her schoolwork, just as usual, for the most part. But, I'm just really proud of everything that she embodies and what she does on a daily basis. She always brings a smile to my face, and from what I understand, her future endeavors is she wants to be just like her favorite principal one day. No? Did that change? Oh. I read that wrong? Oh. I put that down somewhere, I don't know. It is my pleasure to honor Sophia Eck.
One, two, three. All right. Family?
Yep,
Okay.
family's here.
All right. Doc,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, okay. One, two, three. All right, I'll make sure Mr. Ackerman gets that.
Sophia, congratulations. We're super proud of you, and we look forward to all the leadership that you'll demonstrate as you leave the middle school and move into the high school. So good luck to you in your future. So thank you for coming out this evening, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations to all the students of the month. You're welcome to stay for the meeting, but we understand you have busy schedules, so feel free to leave.
Yep, thank you. Have a good one.
See you, buddy.
Tell him that you want him there next year, but he won't go back to school.
What? I like all schools.
We'll talk.
I've tried.
We'll talk.
Okay, next up, student representative reports.
I'll just begin with this class up. My name is Grace Livingston, and I'm a junior in high school. And I will start with Kanadapi Elementary. They loved having Bob McKinnon visit their school last week, a Kanadapi alum who has published multiple children's books, including his most recent, America's Dreaming, and sharing his story with their students. He also generously donated a wagon of books to their school and helped them recognize some of their students who have been wearing their armor throughout the start of the school year. Perhaps the most special part was hosting the family of Mr. Downs, a Kanadapi teacher who welcomed and inspired Bob to their school when he was a new student here. Bob was able to express his gratitude for having had Mr. Downs as a teacher, and the family was able to hear the story which was inspired by their relationship. They appreciated having Linda Falk and the East Prospect Fire Company come to the school as part of Fire Prevention Week, when they share safety tips with our students and to provide a glimpse of the important, harrowing work they do for our community. The kids love getting to try on their gear, climb on their trucks, and ask lots of questions. Their teachers have been hard at work using new pilot curriculum with their students to engage them in new and interesting ways. Besides having some coaches from McGraw-Hill work with their teachers this week, they sent a camera crew to capture how well their first and second grade students have been doing with a new piece of software, Alex Adventure. They're very proud of their students and teachers' hard work and for how well they represent Kanadapi and the rest of the district. The school also has some great events on the horizon, including Trunk or Treat this Saturday and Cinema and S'mores on Friday, November 1st. For Kreitz Creek Elementary, October's focus at Kreitz Creek is growth mindset. Kreitz Creek held their annual fund run today. Fundraising incentives along the way included students pieing their favorite teachers and Mr. Jordan sitting in a duck tank. Students raised just over $11,000. Each week, students are challenged to complete the entire school week without receiving a live school demerit. Demerits can be assigned for minor behavior infractions or not following their standard operating procedures in the classroom. The team at Kreitz Creek is using this tool to monitor behavior or off-task trends. On average this school year, 82.4% of our students are successfully meeting the challenge and are following all teacher expectations.
And then, hi everyone, I'm happy to be back. So for Wrightsville, on September 27th, Wrightsville held their annual fun run. The event was a huge success and students and families raised over $15,000 for the school. Students earned a PJ Day award, and just today, Mr. Kai became a human ice cream sundae as the big reward. Live school incentives and rewards are up and running, and grade levels are cashing in rewards, and individual students are too, as Wrightsville looks to create a positive school culture. And on October 15th, 22 students were recognized at the school-wide assembly for being Harper Citizen Heroes. Students learned about being a helper and a citizen from the EYSD Portrait of a Graduate. The assembly was planned and hosted by 5th grade Armor team members. For the high school, the homecoming dance is on Saturday, October 26th in the gym from 6 to 9 p.m. The fall pep rally will be on Thursday, October 24th. The Powder Puff football game is on Tuesday, 22nd in the stadium, starting at 6 p.m. and there will be food trucks and a bonfire starting at 5. On October 22nd, juniors will also be taking their PSATs. The Eastern York Marching Band will participate in the Wilson Cavalcade competition this Saturday, October 19th. Their championships will be at Dallastown High School on Saturday, November 2nd. Field hockey has their last game and their senior night tonight at 7. On October 29th, from 6 to 7 p.m., there will be the trunk or treat at the high school. On October 30th, DECA Day has their field trip to the Philadelphia 76ers. FFA has just kicked off their annual fruit sales fundraiser. And also tonight, the Marching Knights are having a Texas Roadhouse fundraiser from 3 to 10 p.m. On November 9th, DECA hosts the Cornhole Clash Tournament for the Community Giving Project. Junior mock interviews will be on November 5th and November 7th. Auditions for the spring musical will take place during the week of November 11th. National Honor Society induction will be on November 7th at 6 p.m. in the PAC. And last but not least, November 11th, Veterans Day breakfast in the high school cafeteria is being held from 8 to 9:30 p.m. And is being presented by a student council and the Eastern York High School AFJROTC. That is all we have for you guys.
Great job tonight, ladies. Again, you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but we understand you have busy schedules, so feel free to leave.
Thank you.
We've reached the point of the meeting for the educational presentation. Dr. Andrew.
Yeah, thank you. Before we turn it over to Mr. Ackerman, when you arrived this evening, board, there was just a small booklet on the table there for you. It was a reader involving our 3 elementary principals and Flinch Balls Orchard. So that comes from, we had a Title I parent-family event. Title I is a federal program that provides extra assistance to help with reading at the elementary levels. And so at that event at Flinch Balls, what you're looking at there is just a short story that we had that was played for families as they did the hayride around Flinch Balls Orchard. So each of our principals came to the event, they played the audio and just interacted with families as part of the evening. So it was a great, really well attended. It's the first time we've done a district-wide event like that. We had over 80 students attend, and I think probably close to 200 adults total. So it was well attended in that fashion. So just wanted to share that story with you so you can take a look at it at your leisure. At this time, I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Ackerman, who's going to join us again and tell us a little bit about some currently exciting things going on in Mr. Moyer's class at the middle. Mr. Ackerman.
Thank you again. So on any given day, if you come to the middle, you'll see a lot of exciting things happening in the classroom. If you come on a day like today with the supermoon, you can see a lot of exciting things happening outside the classroom. But that's another story. We won't talk about that right now. But now, in all seriousness, what I want to do tonight is really shine a light on some of the really great things that our teachers are doing. And today's teacher is Micah Moyer. Mr. Moyer is our iTech teacher, and he has really kind of embodied this idea of empowering his students to go above and beyond what the normal curriculum might look like in the traditional iTech classroom. So Mr. Moyer could not be here tonight because of family engagement, but he was kind enough to put together this presentation to give you a glimpse into student choice and what that looks like in his iTech classrooms. I think you'll enjoy what you see.
Hello everyone, my name is Micah Moyer from Eastern York Middle School, and I'm here to talk about what's going on in iTech for students in grades 6, 7th, and 8th. We're going to be focusing on student choice. So in iTech 6, with 6th grade students are focused on the design process. Students work through various challenges to solve problems. So we start out by doing a propulsion challenge, which students make boats, and they can choose what resources they want to use to make their boat, give them certain criteria and constraint parameters, and we basically race those to see how far they go and how they could also transport passenger marbles. Another cool challenge we started, something new this year, is an RC challenge. Basically, students are using various RC vehicles to try to solve the problem of bringing as much wealth to Nightland. Basically, we have various materials around the room, and they all have a point value, and students have to bring it back to Nightland to get the most points possible. They also explore computer software and create a superhero out of food items, and basically are able to print this out onto a rally towel and have something to walk away with. They also get a chance to do a marble challenge on a marble run, and an option to eventually work with machines and tools. In iTech 7, this is pretty cool, we create a game design. So working through game design challenge, students basically are designing an interactive game using the various materials, electronics, machinery, and tools to be entered into iTech Game Day. That's our very last day of class where students get to compete and basically work through each other's games and see how they work, and basically it's almost like a mini carnival. So students have a lot of choice as far as machines and tools. They decide everything from the design all the way to their final, with the LEDs, all the electronics involved with that. So they get to also determine the materials they want to use. As you can see in the picture here, they use various types of wood here and the electronics that were involved as well. They use different systems. We talk about research and development. They are given many options to do their research, come up with some different sketches, whether it's on paper or on the computer. They also are given some options of creating materials lists on the computer or paper. And they come up with a circuit design prior to actually building it. They can do this using schematic symbols with a drawing. They could also do this as a computer model, or they could do a physical model in class as well. They will develop game rules. So come game day, students know how to play each other's games. And they're also given the option of using the vinyl cutter in the room to create different vinyl decals, as you can see on this and a few that will follow, and also paint or any type of wood finish. So taking a look at some student games here, you can see there's various games here. They are all unique. Everybody does a different design, and there's a lot of buy-in with basically being able to create your own design. So you can see a few more here. So again, the vinyl cutter has been used in this case here, and they are all pretty unique here. So a couple others here to finish them off. So now transitioning into iTech 8. iTech 8, basically, students are exploring manufacturing. So a brief overview of this class is students are creating a custom piece for someone in Eastern New York School District to address a need. Now these are some projects from last year. Basically, students have to reach out to somebody within the district, and they are working within certain criteria and constraints, and they have a budget of $32 they have to work within. They create a bill of materials once they figure out what they're making. Whatever they end up designing needs to be safe for the intended user, and they need to make it out of the materials that are available in the shop. You can see some examples there to the right. We'll take a look at a few more here in a moment. Student choice, they have a lot of choice as far as how they communicate. They can go reach out to the teacher, talk with them one-on-one, via email, a variety of different ways, and also communicating with each other as a group. Students will also determine what materials they're using, so they have to think about that $32 budget and also think about the need at hand. Students will also then be able to decide what machines and tools they need for that challenge of whatever they are creating for the individual they're addressing the need for. And then they also are documenting all their work through an e-portfolio. They're given a template to kind of give them a starting point, but then they can adjust that template any way they see fit. And come presentation day, the very last day, once we see everybody's designs, we also are given the option to either create a video that's pre-recorded, or they can do it live in front of their classmates. So taking a look at some of these examples of students in the past, you can see Mr. Goodman here in the middle school. In his math class, he needed a calculator and ruler holder. Students had created something to keep things organized in his classroom. The cafeteria staff, students reached out to the cafeteria staff and created a spoon and fork organizer here for them, just to keep everything contained. They also used the vinyl cutter there. Brought in some school colors, also had the shield with the swords there, and also, if you look real closely, had the spoon and fork in the inside to distinguish the two. This one was pretty neat as well. A little bit more of a different avenue, taking it outside here with a birdhouse for the outdoor classroom at East New York Middle School. And we have also Mr. Davidson, school security officer. Students made a walkie-talkie holder for him to keep all this stuff contained. And also had some students reach out to some previous teachers they had at the elementary school level. As you can see in this example, this was a math review game for elementary school students made for Mr. James down in Craig's Creek. And students really enjoyed working through that, especially incorporating electronics from 7th grade, and came up with a really cool project there. So these were some different examples of student choice within iTech for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Hope you guys enjoyed.
So, as you can see, pretty cool things happening at the middle, and I appreciate Mr. Moyer and his willingness to kind of go outside of the box and allow students to also do the same thing and create and innovate in the ways that they're doing things. So, pretty neat. If you notice too, and maybe you didn't, but on almost every slide, everything he was talking about, the word challenge was there. I think that's important. I think we constantly need to challenge our students, and certainly that's an example. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, Mr. Moyer, like many of all of our teachers, really, really challenge our students to go above and beyond. So it's pretty cool. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, how do I see more of this? Well, I have a challenge for you. So permission to approach the bench. I don't know. On October 30th, we have Junior Achievement of Central PA coming in. They do this every year. It's called the Yes, Your Economic Success Program, and we need, you guys are here all the time, so we still need volunteers. I know some of you have done this before, so you can talk to some of your colleagues or your board members, and we would love to have you come and get a taste of the middle for a morning. It's a really neat program. They basically, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders split up. They go into groups. JA does a phenomenal job of setting everything up for you. You basically come in and give your adult expertise in the real world. They set up the whole plan for you. You don't have to bring anything except for your great attitude and positivity for our kids. There are teachers in each room to help you with anything else and supervise, obviously. And every grade level does 4 different rotations, anywhere from entrepreneurship to STEM activities, interviewing, all kinds of great stuff. So we'd love to have you. If you'd like to sign up and register, that's great. You can use the QR code. And like I said, come and help us out. I guarantee you will have a great time. Every year we do this, the adult volunteers walk out with smiles and shaking their heads. I think in a good way, though, not in a bad way. So that's my challenge for you for the month. We hope to see you at the end of October. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Ackerman, one comment. All the things that Mr. Moyer put up there this evening is happening in a 23-day span when they have his class. Is that correct? I mean, I think it's 23 days. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. It's on an AP schedule, so it's half of a quarter. We have certainly had some conversations about maybe making that a full quarter. That would obviously mean a schedule change. Might be talking to you soon, sometime down the road, but who knows? But obviously, we would love to give more time for teachers like Micah and our other unified arts teachers to spend more time and really challenge our kids. 23 days is not a lot of time. It's every other day, and yet you see what they do in 23 days. Imagine what they could do in 45. So.
And many of these projects now will be connecting to our new science steel standards as well for technology education. So direct connection to all the things that happen in STEM and the new science steel standards. So on behalf of myself and the board, please thank Mr. Moyer for taking the time and putting together the video and showcasing all the good things that he's doing in his iTech class. So thank you, Mr. Ackerman.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, we have reached the point of the meeting of the hearing for the hearing of the patrons on agenda items only. We will have another hearing of the patrons at the end of the meeting, and you can speak on any topic. There are 2 opportunities for public comments on the board. The first opportunity will be agenda items only, while the second will be on other topics. No matter involving individual students, personnel, purchase, lease, or real estate relations, litigation, or other privileged confidential issues shall be initiated at the public meeting. Please note that the board will be listening and taking notes, but do not expect a response. If further action is needed from the administration, direction will be given to follow up with the community member. Should a board member offer a response, the individual speaking is speaking for himself only, and response should be considered to be that of not the board. We also will be limiting our time for both a hearing of the patrons and both topics on the board today for 5 minutes. Approval of previous board minutes. Do we have a motion and a second to approve last month's board minutes?
Second.
We do have a motion, and any questions or comments from the previous board minutes? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Mr. Mark.
Thank you. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's reports, 7.1 and 7.2?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have secretary report. Let's see here. Should we make could I have a motion from 8.1 to 8.8?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on the motions?
Ken, on 8.8, I just wanted to clarify, I thought we did it in the Tuesday meeting, but it is just for the 10,000 for this current academic year.
Correct.
Okay.
To extend that, we would have to sign another agreement before July 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Correct. Any other questions on the motions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have operations. I think I want, if it's okay, if we can make a motion for 9.1 and 9.2 first.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions on 9.1 or 9.2? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The reason why I kept 9.3 separate is because we had a slight change since our Tuesday operations meeting. We went back and asked for some changes with the contract to split it out between design services and construction management. Also, in the meantime, we sent the contract to our legal team. They sent us some corrections, so now we're going to go back to the contractor and ask for those changes in the contract. So I will not be signing the contract until we have those changes incorporated in the contract. So for here, can I have a motion on 9.3?
What's the motion exactly?
Yeah, what are we approving?
So it is the proposal from ELA Sports to develop a renovation plan for the stadium complex at a cost of $147,000 for design and planning, which represents 6% of the construction cost, the estimated construction cost. And that also includes $36,750 for the construction documents and procurement, which represents 1.5% of the construction cost. So the construction cost is estimated at $2.5 million. So this would be for the, like I said, the design of the project and the construction management going forward.
Mr. Marks.
Should,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, should there be, Jason, should pending completion of solicitor review added to that at the end?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't comfortable with the ask. I agree with you, that makes more sense. I don't think it has a green light until, the approval and the solicitor review. It
Correct.
has to be
That-
amended.
That's exactly what I
Okay,
spoke of, yes.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just want to, I think we just want to
I
attach that
agree.
to the,
Yeah.
to the resolution.
Correct.
Right. Mr. Marks, I have one question related to the ELA,
So sorry for cutting you off. Do you mind if we make a motion first and then we
Sure.
discuss questions about it? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, we need a motion for
So
discussion.
can I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Ryan.
the question would be, how long would this plan?
Like the estimated time of completion?
So in other words, if we would not utilize them for construction services, but we're just getting the plan, is there a typical time frame of how long this would be good for, that we could give it to another contractor and utilize the plan provided? And
So-
come back to the drawing board?
It's hard to answer because obviously, once the plans are submitted, right, the cost estimation is created. It all depends on the timing, right? The further you go out, the more volatile the costs might be. But as far as the plans, they're usually good for at least a year, but not the cost estimation. I mean, you might be only at a 90-day cost estimation or something like that, because when they estimate the cost, then we go out for bid, or we contract with companies under state contract, so then the cost would come in. At this point, he's estimating the project will be, $2,450,000 total cost, so, but until we actually go out for bid and, procure the services of all the contractors, we really don't know the actual cost. So you're saying maybe also, like, once we get the plans and the documents, how long do they last for? Well, I think once we get the plans, you have to also file for permits with the various townships and water conservation boards, those kind of stormwater management companies. And then as far as filing for those permits, I'm not sure how long they would stand. We might have to then re-up a permit if we would need to.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Brian, I was gonna say, the design phase of this may be a little bit quicker because ELA, a couple years ago, did a field study for us, and during that process, they also reviewed the bleachers. So there may be some of that preliminary work that has been done up front, which may save a little bit of time, at least in the initial design, based on the first proposal and the scope of work. So probably stormwater and some of those will take a little bit more, but the initial design, like from the bleachers and the track and things like that, those have kind of already been evaluated, so it would probably just be whatever documents, as Ken said, that we would need to have, that we would have to produce for our local municipality, if that's part of the process.
Did we pay for that study?
Yeah, it was a whole athletic field study, though. It wasn't just focused on the stadium. They looked at all of our different athletic fields at that particular time and gave
So we
recommendations.
can't utilize a portion of that to the.
That's why I said, yeah, there's probably pieces within that set that they can use already.
But they're not charging us then to redo that we already paid for.
That would be a question we would probably have to ask, and it just depends on it depends on if we're gonna stick with that same design or not. Because it was just, there were 2 or 3 different options, if I recall, like one was brand new bleachers, one was retrofitting the bleachers, so there would need to be more design, I would probably say, depending on what way we go with that. Because they were just initial like sketches and things like that, they weren't the elevations and all the other things that probably would be asked for.
I had a quick question, and all of this work would fall within Lower Windsor, correct? None of this falls on the Hello side, is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
In their proposal, they have worked with Lower Windsor before as well, so they're, in the proposal, they're very familiar with, to work with.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't know if this matters or not, but I did ask Mr. Hoover if he could, if we could work with the recommendations from the International Dark Sky Association for the sports complex lighting, different recommendations for lighting fixtures. So
Okay,
I did
absolutely. Yeah,
specifically request that.
when you go through this process, usually when you they'll contract with a specific vendor for lighting, and they'll give you a different few options, based on, do you want more light in certain areas? And usually, actually, when we were talking the other night, what I was thinking is, usually they give you a lighting test. They go through the entire, and they see where you need more lighting, where you need less lighting. Especially when you're changing from, I think we have incandescent to LED. It's a total game changer as far as how far spread out they are and the coverage area and stuff. So they'll probably, with the cost of the contract to replace those lights, there probably will be a study.
Mr. Marks, just as a note, just so all these contracts typically come with a % of total estimated cost on the front end. I just want to make absolutely sure that I haven't forgotten this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. If the cost of this goes up, the charges for the professional engineering services don't go up as a % of services. This is right now, it's just an estimate for the percent of estimated cost as a snapshot, just as a reference here, it's not tied to the cost of the project.
Correct.
This is tied as a percent because that's a contract discipline to see that we're within the acceptable range for development.
Right, when they quote a price, they quote it based on what they estimate the project to be, but if the costs come in higher or lower, the price doesn't change.
Right,
Correct.
okay.
Because technically, he could provide plans for all of these areas that we're talking about, and we choose not to do some of the plans. We still have to pay for those plans that we
Right.
asked him to create.
Yeah, I read the fine print here on what the services are. This is basic services, additional things and fees are not included here.
Correct.
That's- But I know how the world works, I just wanted to,
Right.
okay.
With the solicitor's review as well, they made note that, we should also discuss ways to say, if project was delayed because of an approval process, that we wouldn't be responsible for extra charges associated with those delays, if we need to take it and get it approved, so. Any other questions?
One last question, can you remind me where these funds would be coming from?
So we have currently, if you, back on our treasurer's report, the banking report, if you ever want to look back there, you'll notice we have a construction fund balance as of September 30th of $4,071,000. So that's where the money will be coming from. Yep. Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next is number 10, our secretary report for donations and disposal. We only have one disposal from Canadockley. Can I have a motion and a second to approve 10.1?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. Personnel, Dr. Mancuso.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Beginning with superintendent report for personnel, motion to approve 11.1 through 11.6.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are any questions?
Question.
Yes.
I don't see the two additions here.
11.6, this is two of all.
It's under miscellaneous?
Yes.
How's it been filling positions? What's your overall feeling with everything?
Right now, obviously, we're finally fully staffed with our professional staff after people have been held their 60 days. Some of our classroom assistant positions, as far as learning support at the middle school, we have about 3 openings, I believe, that we still are looking to fill, and a couple other personal care assistant positions. So those are typically a little bit harder to fill.
We've always run a deficit on that every year.
Sometimes at the high school, middle school, with the special education age, yes.
I don't know whether.
We're still in the process of interviewing for those positions again, so.
I think it's always been a challenge, not just with this school, but across the county.
Correct.
I'm sure it's statewide. We might wanna, depending on the difficulty that we're seeing, we might wanna open that up for discussion in executive session at some point for those positions specifically because of the difficulties in hiring. Re-look at those positions for opportunities to, it's always open, I mean, there's always something there, so I'd like to.
Well,
If it's not a problem for anybody, if there's no pain that you feel, then that's being difficult.
Well, those positions are included now, Mr. Zepp, in the new Support Staff Association, and those are the ongoing negotiations, if you're talking about potential salary and those things, those are
Oh,
ongoing.
that's in the, that's the
Yeah,
bargaining stuff.
that's in the bargain, collective
I
bargaining
withdraw
discussions.
anything I just said.
Those negotiations are ongoing.
Dr. Mancusi, you want me to talk about the cost that I sent out today?
If you wish, there's
That's
a
what I'm
motion
asking.
on the floor, I didn't know if there was any discussion needed or not.
There was no request for it.
And more of a statement, for 11.5.1, I was pleasantly surprised to see that we have 230 volunteers within the district, which is, it seems high, but like 10% of the student population.
That's typical. So,
Yeah, that's awesome, yeah, that's
Very
great.
good news. Any questions, comments, any more? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Curriculum, Dr. Mancuso.
Motion to approve 12.1.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
How are we funding that program?
Oh, this is a student who would just put this together and work with a teacher independently on that. So
Gotcha. And so what's the future, what does that look like? I mean,
because it's an independent study, they design that with the teacher based on what their learning goals would be to study neuroscience.
okay, that's cool.
As we, Dr. Shoemaker was at West York today looking at a biomedical program that we've just implemented, that might be something in the future that could potentially be part of that curriculum.
Actually, is.
Except those are typically for, like, if I've taken all the coursework associated in something that I'm passionate about,
Yeah.
if I'm looking to extend them, it's not offered, that's where that independent study often comes to the
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Policy, Dr. Mancuso.
Motion to approve 13.1 through 13.4.
I would like to request we pull 13.1 out and vote separate.
Okay, so the motion now will be, motion to approve 13.2 through 13.4.
Motion. Second. Okay, we have a motion on the second for 13.2 through 13.4. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Back to 13. Motion to approve 13.1.
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 13.1. Are there any questions or comments?
Are we required by law to, if the law tells us we have to do this, can we not do it? I'm
You
just,
just only gotta accept the consequences of our decision.
yeah, so, just curious why we pulled it out. I just have an objection to some of the language in it.
Sure.
Are you,
I mean, I need to know a little bit more.
It just, because this is about, students, in order to, anyone who's encountering educational instability, that we are to, if they're within the district confines, to bring them in without question, if they don't have the hard documentation, they're still permitted to come in with the documentation. Because people coming into our district provide documentation, all kinds of paperwork, vaccine, that stuff, and there's just no problem with that.
What do you think, Jason?
It's in the Convento Act, it's.
Yeah,
It's federal law and then the Convento law.
I got you,
Yeah.
okay.
So I
I-
just,
We
I've
did
had
talk
it
about that, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's a, it's
Yeah.
an old age thing.
Is this a new change? I know we talked about some of this Tuesday,
Yes.
forgive me, but this is a recent change
Yes.
to that act? Okay.
But all of these are because of the McKinney Act. All this is brought about because of federal requirements.
Yes.
None of this is done birthed out of us in our committees.
No.
No.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with homelessness and things like that, it's just the documentation portion that I object to.
I object to 90% of stuff they make us do. That's federal law.
But this is my principle, so I'm voting my principle.
Yep.
I understand why you're,
Yeah.
I understand.
Mr. Zabel, is there a chance that if there's we have an upcoming election, is there a possibility if there's a change in governance at the executive level that this could change again?
Probably not, because it's legislation, not a
Okay.
regulation.
And I don't think it's just a certain aspect of it, I think it's, because like.
McKinney-Vento Act has been around for a while. Mr.
Okay,
President.
and this is just
That's-
something new
that's-
that they've changed?
It's just that piece is being added into this policy.
Okay.
And then, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, we passed separate policies dealing with the educational instability and foster care and homelessness as well.
Okay.
That had legal changes to that at some point as well.
This is what.
So if we have a resident buy a home in the district and they want to enroll their children, they have to show proof of residency?
Yes,
This is-
yeah. But there is a portion on the registration about, that asks questions around homelessness as well.
Okay, thank you.
And to be clear, so I understand, the reason you are objecting to this or bringing light to it is that you don't have to show any identification if you're illegal alien or whatever the.
It's just the fact that documentation, if they don't have the
It's not-
documentation.
It's not
yeah,
fairly across the board.
That's my problem with it. It's not political, there's no other reason, it's the documentation.
Right, yeah, I get it. That's fair. I hate that too. But it's not gonna change anything.
No, but again, this is my principle, so I'm voting the way that I feel I need to vote.
I'm not trying to persuade you, I'm just.
No,
at
I'm just
all.
saying, this is.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to clearly understand the situation. Okay, thank you.
Roll call vote on this?
Well, what?
No,
Well,
it was just pulled out, you don't need a roll call.
Nobody-
It's just,
nobody requested a roll
consensus.
call.
It's a consensus motion, so
Okay.
all those in favor?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Carrie, did
You
you
did
see
have,
me too?
do you have,
Okay, sorry. I
do you have
didn't
two noes?
Two, I think.
Two.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
no.
motion passes
Sorry.
7-2.
New business, Dr. Naguzzo.
These are-
Motion to approve 14.1.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do you have any questions or comments?
Doug, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. A board member was distracted.
Don't,
Which one?
don't blame me, don't blame me.
Which one are we on?
We're on 14.1.
All right.
Bocce.
We have a motion, and
Bocce.
we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Bocce
The
ball.
bocce ball.
Ah, yeah. I'm all in on that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Informational items.
Can I just
Oh,
make
go
a
ahead.
quick comment, Mr. Bailey? I'm super excited that Eastern New York High School tonight became a unified sports champion school. It's been something that we have been pushing forward, so I'm super proud of Mr. Finelli and Dr. Malloy, who have really carried the banner on this and trying to move it along to get this into the district. So I thank you for your efforts. And this is going to be super beneficial for all who will be involved with this program in the future. So I am elated that we took this step this evening. So thank you very much, Board, for supporting this program this evening.
And if I wasn't mistaken, this would be implemented fairly quickly as well.
This will be starting November, whatever our first day, PIAA approved basketball is typically like the week before Thanksgiving, so we think we're gonna have a team in place, and at some point, we'll be inviting you hopefully to a home bocce ball match to participate in and watch.
Just to be clear on this, but I don't see any, I think there was a small amount of funds that needed to be allocated for something.
That's part of it, yes.
Okay, I didn't see it in there, but I just want to make the board aware.
Yeah, I made the board aware that we get the $1,000 stipend for the coach, and then the board was fine with the $584, and we really didn't have to make a motion to add that.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Mancuso. Informational items, November 19th at 5:15 is the Operations Committee meeting. November 21st at 6 p.m. is a regular board meeting. Next up, we have the President's report. I have no report tonight. Committee reports, operations, Mr. Livingston.
Nothing that hasn't really crossed over to this evening.
And then the York LIU, Mr. Livingston.
Yeah, so I attended the September meeting. One thing that, and I don't want to steal too much of your thunder if you're going to talk about what York County School of Technology is embarking
Feel
on
free,
with,
yeah.
with the feasibility study. But one of the things that was, I think, exciting about this meeting was that if York County School of Technology moves forward with the building project, that the York Learning Center is interested in leasing 100,000 square feet there to move those programs from the old Central York High School over to the School of Technology, which would be a vast improvement, because this board knows what it's like to have two buildings that are 70-plus years old and the challenges that are associated with that. The other thing, and this is where, well, I don't want to step on your report either. Were you going to talk about the new director, the new executive director? Were you going to say anything? So LIU has appointed a new executive director effective September 11th, Dr. M. Christopher Marchese, and he comes from the Avon Grove School District in Westwood.
And he'll be taking over in January.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. York County School of Technology, I attended September 26th board meeting, and those meetings are attached for everyone to review. York County School of Technology Authority, Ms. Lawson.
No.
Okay. York Adams Academy, Mr. Fink.
They've been having a lot of success with graduation. I believe they had like 55 students already graduate. And Mrs. Ackerman has had a lot of success with trying to bring other schools back into the program, or not bring back, but bring on. One of possibly being York City.
And Southern York has purchased one spot, and they're experimenting about returning back to York Adams Academy as well.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Lincoln Intermediate, Unit 12, Ms. Warbaugh.
All the minutes are attached.
We recently appointed an agenda for final board comments.
Let me ask you a question on the committee reports. I thought I saw an email that somebody wanted to resign their position for the committees. Did I see that?
Mrs. Rohrbal is
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
resigning your position as the representative for the LIU board.
I am, yes, but,
And that term is till,
I don't know, I've been doing it for 3 years.
it's probably another year then, and then Central York somebody from Central York would serve as our representative, because Mrs. Rohrbal, those two, our school district and Central York, are combined into the one board seat.
But I do want to mention that the admin sends out the minutes. I don't do that. They do that automatically. So whether I'm attending the meetings, I mean, I have been attending meetings, but whether I'm attending or not, we're still going to get the minutes.
Yeah, I just think Mr. Zepp was asking about the email that you sent that you wish to resign
Yes,
from that
yeah,
position.
for personal reasons mostly.
Right, no, it doesn't matter why you're doing it, but I just wanted to make sure there was going to be coverage.
We'll have to get
for that
someone
seat.
from our board to fill the seat for the remainder of Mrs. Rohrbal's term.
So, the reason I'm asking is, when are you not going to be serving? When is that
To the
date?
end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
January
Yeah.
1. We can do that at the reorganization meeting.
Yeah, that makes sense there.
Yeah, I just feel it should be someone who has knowledge or experience in the whole special ed. I don't, so I don't feel like I bring much value to the board.
I think a passion for it is enough. They'll counsel you at the meetings, I hear that a lot, you don't have to have it's up to you, but I think you don't need a knowledge in special education to be able to go there. A lot of their stuff is facilities, or executive management, or future for the building, for those kind of things. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff besides that, but, yeah. That's all I have.
We have reached the point of the agenda for public comment. This can be on any topic, and as a reminder, we'll be holding for 5-minute discussions.
That's not needed that.
You got it, Lori?
Yeah, I got it. That's the only one. I think it just pulls up. It's not that it's unsturdy.
Lori Lehman. I'm just here to kind of like piggyback off of the last time when I was here, just to see where we're at as far as observing the children's curriculum. And I do know that the curriculum is being reviewed, and with the meeting I had with the 2 English teachers and our 2 high school principals, I was told that it takes 3 to 5 years to redo the curriculum. My first question is, the curriculum that our teachers are given, is that coming down from the Department of Education? Can anybody answer that? All the books, the movies that they're allowed to choose from. So I was told that the teachers get a list, and then it's up to them what they're going to use. Who gives them that list? No, none of you know that.
Yeah, well, and I'll clarify that, public comment, it's not a question and answer session, it's not an interview, so you can ask questions and somebody can look into it for you, and if it's a question the district needs to get back to you with, they can do that, but your comment is your 5 minutes to say whatever you want, ask whatever you want, and then someone will get back to you.
If you don't mind, somebody please get back to me on that. And
But you're already meeting with the principal, right?
I already did, yeah, we already.
They can answer those questions for you, that doesn't have to come from the board.
Okay. And with that going out, all these years we've had, since I've had kids in the district, starting with the oldest in 9th grade, it started with, now we have to send permission slips home. My question is too, can we, and I think I've asked this in years past, have permission slips going out for anything that is controversial, so that the parents are aware of what the child is reading and watching, and explaining on that permission slip what is controversial about it, because there are so many parents that I've talked to that had no idea about the materials I brought to your attention at the last board meeting. Parents do not know what their kids are reading and watching in our school district, and it's really important that everybody is upfront honest with these parents. And I just had some thoughts I wanted to read over, however many minutes I have left here. We have, when the school district introduces and allows materials that are sexually explicit to students to read or watch, the school district employees, I feel, should feel very awkward sitting in class with them. Because to me, education, our school is for an education, not a molestation. And I don't understand how a teacher can sit in a class watching a movie or reading a book or a short story that contains sexual content. Our school district should be teaching abstinence. This is something that I think has gone out the window with our kids learning in our district. And I did, during my teacher principal meeting, I have been very concerned about this because it's been in the news. In the past 1.5 to 2 years, at least 4 of our former graduates have been convicted on child rape, child pornography, repeated sexual assault. Everybody is a sinner and we all make bad choices. But I'm wondering if something could be implemented more in our teaching in this school district that teaches these kids about the consequences about the choices they're making or could make in the future. Teaching them about what's wrong from right and not to be afraid to teach these kids that. Another thing is, when these kids graduate, and I know I brought this up to a couple of you before, could there be, I know there's requirements for graduation, but could there be simple requirements, such as being able to tell time on a wall clock? I know I brought that to some of your attention before, and we have digital, so we don't really need a wall clock. Yeah, we do. Can we teach them how to write in cursive? Can that be something that they have to know how to do before they graduate? You still have important documents that you're teaching the kids, I hope you're teaching them still in the high school, that they're gonna need to know how to read. People still sign checks. Can we teach them how to count back change? That is a really big one. We have kids graduating from high school who cannot count back change. That's a concern to me. So I wonder where all the teachers have gone that have taught hands-on stuff. If you remember, if you ever went to Price Creek Elementary, I think some of you have, Mrs. McHenry and Mrs. Fensmacher always did a huge, wonderful teaching display of Thanksgiving. Those kids dressed up like pilgrims and Indians. They had a huge Thanksgiving dinner. They prepared it there. To this day, our kids remember this, and many other teachers have done hands-on things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lehman, for your comments and questions, and we'll have administration follow up and get your response. Any more public comments? Do I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion for final board comments. We did that. We did that.
You were talking to another board member.
I have a final board comment.
Go ahead. Mr. Zap.
A graduate of Eastern York High School has recently passed the bar exam. My daughter.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations and condolences, because she wants to charge me $250 an hour to talk to her. So I've asked her to put together a will and make sure her name is not in it.
Congratulations. That's
Very proud.
Great news.
Big deal.
Great news. Okay, do I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.